Dr. Shores, and I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit about how Dante understood his work, the Divine Comedy. Like many ancient and medieval Christians, Dante understood the act of reading the Bible to involve different layers of interpretation, right? So he understood that reading the Bible and reading other holy works involved not only an understanding of what literally happened, but also an investigation of allegory or metaphor. So he uses this practice and says that it should be applied to his own work as well, and that reading the Divine Comedy, we should be able to read it in two different ways. One, literally, and two, allegorically. And those should not happen at the exclusion of the other. One way we know this is because he wrote a letter to his friend Cangrande about this very thing. So I'm going to read just a couple bits of this letter. The subject of this work, when taken literally, is simply the status of the soul after death. That's it. So he says, when taken literally, the inferno, the purgatory, and the paradise, these are all just stories of what he imagines might happen after death. Taken allegorically, though, the subject of this work is man, either gaining or losing merit through his freedom of will, and subject to the justice of being rewarded or punished. So what he says is that at first glance, this is about just like where souls go when they die. But when we're thinking about it allegorically, when we're actually making meaning of this, then he says that we need to be working as under the understanding that this is actually about man and the choices that he makes and the various forces that he can or cannot control. This is so important because of what Dante writes next. Its form is twofold, the form of the treatise and the form of the treatment, right? So here in these two different levels, in these two different layers, we're actually beginning to understand that he is saying, here's what happens and here's why and here's what can be done, right? So the treatise, meaning like, this is what I've found, this is what I've discovered, and the treatment, like, this is what might help. It's important, of course, to remember that Dante knew that this was literary. He would never, ever have said that this was real. He would never have said, yes, I've actually been to hell. Yes, I've actually been to purgatory. Yes, I've actually been to paradise. That would never have occurred to him. He is working within kind of this like dream vision narrative that would have been familiar to his audience. So we don't ever have to wonder about whether or not Dante actually believed that he had like special revelations from God or anyone else. He understood himself to be mortal. He understood himself to be, unfairly punished because of the political system that was so ensconced in the papacy. And I'll talk about that in another little video. Thanks.